DA Jenkins joins us live now this Sunday morning. DA, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, to start off, during your first week in office, you stressed you would prioritize cleaning up the city, specifically the Tenderloin. How would you grade the livability right now in the Tenderloin?
I think we still have a great deal of work to do in the Tenderloin. I don't think we can celebrate just yet. We know that every time that we go and talk with residents and business owners there, that they are still very frustrated with the street conditions. My office is working very hard to prosecute those who continue to deal drugs on the streets there. We are meaningfully working hard to try to strategize with the Department of Public Health and the police department and the mayor's office with how we address those who are addicted to fentanyl, who we know need our help and need treatment desperately. And so we are continuing to make progress. We've got great partnerships with other law enforcement agencies, but we still have a long way to go.
To give our viewers perspective from your lens, you talked about a lot of the work you're doing now. What's changed in that area since you've assumed office? And would you walk alone with your own kids through that area?
What we have seen is a tremendous decrease in the number of dealers that are out during the daytime hours. We're seeing that activity shift to the nighttime. And so we know that once the sun sets, that is when we start to see an uptick in the level of people who are loitering, the people who are dealing drugs, the people who are coming out to purchase drugs, who are illegally selling stolen goods. And so, yes, we have had to now shift much of our strategy to working on having a police presence and other agencies present at night to do outreach and enforcement. Yes, of course, I have two children. They are 4 and 7, and I would not want them to see, walking through many of the things that I see when I walk through the Tenderloin. And I understand that there are many parents and many children living there who are wrestling with that same issue. And so it is our job as a city to make sure that we give them livable conditions down there. And so that's what I'm working hard to do.
Now, the conviction rate in San Francisco has increased for the first time in 8 years, according to data from your office. 37% of cases resulted in a conviction in 2022 to almost 43% in 2023. It is the first time since 2016 that those rates have increased. How is the city safer because of this?
What we are trying to demonstrate is that we have accountability back in San Francisco. Those who are coming into our businesses, attacking our residents, doing all the things that have been going on, are understanding that we have a new system here, that we believe in accountability, that there will be consequences. And so we're not going to tolerate the things that have been happening over the past few years. And so I want that trend to continue. I've really worked hard to hire additional staff in our office who have prosecutorial experience, who understand what it takes to prove our cases and get this job done. And so I think that's why we are seeing an increased ability, both at jury trial and in getting defendants to take plea offers.
Tackling open-air drug markets have been a priority for you. Will you be doing anything different to pursue drug-related prosecutions this year?
We are going to continue to partner with the federal government and other local law enforcement agencies. Again, some of the things that we need to do are to ramp up our overdose death investigations. That's something that we are embarking on this year. The governor's office has dedicated resources to that. And so we have been undergoing training along with other law enforcement agencies so that we can start investigating overdose deaths and perhaps start prosecuting those who are selling fentanyl causing these deaths with murder. So that is something that will take off this year. But we have to continue to strategize how we can have an impact with those who are addicted. I believe that is our biggest struggle right now, is how do we intervene with those who are addicted to fentanyl. It is a very difficult drug to get through, when you're talking about how addictive that substance is. And so, again, this is a part of a public health strategy that needs to be improved in our city.
Well, speaking of fentanyl, I want to talk about the case of 22-year-old Eduardo Rosales Silva, who was arrested in May of 2022 for possession to sell cocaine, fentanyl, and meth, but was released by a judge. And he was then arrested 4 more times for selling drugs. His sentence, as you know, 18 months in jail. Does that concern you?
I was very frustrated with that sentence. He essentially got credit for time served and was released almost immediately following that trial. And so, again, this is somebody who has demonstrated an unwillingness to follow the law, continuing to peddle death on our streets. And yet, even after going through the resources it takes to prosecute a case to jury trial, taking up the time of jurors, we're still seeing judges come in on the back end and give these lenient sentences. We cannot keep dealing with this issue so leniently. We have to send a message that we're not going to tolerate fentanyl dealing in our city anymore.
Now, where does recidivism stand in San Francisco currently? Would you say it's gotten worse, better, or the same?
I would say when I took over, it was at its height. People did not believe there was any accountability. They were being released immediately after their arrest. And so the courthouse was a revolving door. And in many ways, despite my office fighting against that, it still is for certain types of crime. That's why I've been so vocal about the judge's impact when it comes to us asking to detain certain drug dealers while their cases are open. We are still seeing that it's taking 3 or 4 arrests for that to happen, and that shouldn't be the case. We are seeing progress, though, when it comes to other types of nonviolent crime like organized retail theft, where we are seeing some of those defendants be held in. And so it is progress, but again, we still have a long way to go.
San Francisco recently received a $2 million grant to fight property crime. How is this helping your office?
Yes, the recent grant was with respect to organized retail theft. It has allowed me to appoint a designated prosecutor just to organize retail theft, as well as an investigator in my office. Both of those individuals are working with regional law enforcement as well as business owners and retailers to really target the most prolific organized retail theft groups and rings, so that we have firm accountability in those cases, so that we can connect them across counties, because we know that in this region they are going from county to county committing these same crimes. And so I'm very thankful for those resources. The police department was able to secure $15 million through that grant. And so again, working together, we're being able to target this issue more effectively, and we're seeing that number, that percentage of crime also come down as well.
Now, before we go, we've covered a lot here. If you had to pick one, what is the main priority you want to tackle on the streets of San Francisco in 2024?
Right now, I believe it's two. It's hard to choose between. We must continue to improve street conditions in our South of Market and Tenderloin neighborhoods. We cannot give up that fight. We have to decrease the number of overdose deaths. And that means, again, having an effective strategy with public health to address those who are addicted, and on the law enforcement side, do more to ensure that we are holding drug dealers accountable. But we also can't forget that retail theft is a huge problem in this city. We have a Safeway closing in the Fillmore district. I cannot accept watching our businesses close because of rampant theft. We have to make sure that that is a priority as well, because we have to have access to goods and we have to maintain jobs for our residents.
DA, that's all the time we have for now, but thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.